This is the Face of Change. I'm glad you're here and you're joining me for this episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about why we resist change. Over the past couple of episodes, we've talked about ways to manage a particular change, back to school, and the anxiety that creates. And we've also talked about how to change. And I've given you some tips on how to change, tangible things that you can do to manage change. But as I spoke to you in other videos, I've told you that there are so many nuances to change. And so I don't want you to feel like once you've listened to one or two videos, that's it. We're going to dig a little deeper today. And we're going to talk about some reasons why change can feel very difficult to embrace and why we feel resistant to the change. Okay. So come along with me and let's go through those 4 steps. It comes out of the blue. You just don't expect it. And it's shocking. Whenever change is surprising, it means that you weren't anticipating it. And if you weren't anticipating it, you didn't have a chance to prepare yourself and how to overcome some of the challenges that may come with it. Naturally, you will resist that because you don't know what's happening. You don't know what to do. So ways to manage feeling that shock is to understand that there's going to be information that you can consume. You need to start to consume that information. And you need to focus on what it is that you can control in this environment. Reason number 2, uncertainty. You have no idea what's on the other side. People resist change when they feel like, I'm comfortable with where I am today. I know what's happening with today, and I don't have a urgent need, a compelling need to change. So I don't want to move to something new and be inadequate at that new situation or not be sure that it's going to be the best opportunity for me in the future. So we resist change because we don't know what's around the corner, right? It's better to know the devil you know than to the one you don't. We want to be comfortable knowing enough about our situation to be competent and comfortable. And unfortunately, when you have unexpected change, that completely disrupts comfort and disrupts those normal behaviors that we do every day. Okay. And the third reason why people tend to resist change is that you feel a loss of control. You know, we all create our own little territories. We do it at work, we do it at home. We create a scenario that is comfortable for us. And when change comes along and it disrupts our normal behaviors, it makes us feel a loss of control. The bigger habit or the bigger reason, I didn't want to jump the gun there, but the bigger reason why most of us are resisting change is habit. If you've ever read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, then you've heard that there is a cycle to the way we do things. We would say about 40% of the behaviors that you have on a daily basis are habitual. You do them without thinking. And so having a routine and having things done becomes programmed and systematic to the way you work. And so the hardest part of change and being resistant to change because of it is that you need to change your habits. The good news is there a way to do that? And I have a cute video that I want you to watch so that you can get some more insight into that. Okay? So watch the video, meet me back here.
So if you're like me, you probably have at least a few bad habits you would like to break, but it's tough because no matter how hard I try, I seem to slip back into the same old routines again and again.
In the last decade, we've learned a lot about how habits work.
That's Charles Duhigg, author of the book, The Power of Habit.
And in particular, we've learned the neurological structure of a habit.
He says that we tend to think of habits as a single thing, but actually,
each habit has 3 components. There's a cue, which is like a trigger for a behavior to start. And then there's a routine, which is the behavior itself. And then finally, a reward, which is how our brain learns to encode that automatic behavior for the future. And one of the big differences is that for years when people thought about habits, they focused in on the routine, on the behavior. But what we now know is that it's these cues and these rewards that really shape how habits occur and how to change them.
And Charles says that whether we like it or not, this kind of habit formation is endemic to our brain.
And what it will do is our brain will latch onto a cue that it associates with a behavior and a particular reward. And over time, that cue and that reward become more and more and more sort of intertwined. A particular part of your brain named the basal ganglia will relate them together. And the behavior that's associated with that will just sort of happen automatically.
But Charles says the good news is we can also use this knowledge to our advantage.
There was a big study that was done about how to create exercise habits. And so what they did is they told a group of people, okay, first of all, choose an obvious cue. Always go running at the same time every day, or put your workout clothes next to your bed so that you see them first thing when you wake up. And then they said, and then go for a run or go work out. And when you get back from exercising, give yourself a small piece of chocolate. Now, this is kind of counterintuitive, right? Because people who are exercising are trying to lose weight, not eat more chocolate. And yet what the researchers knew is that their brain needed that reward. Their basal ganglia needed some reward. And what they found was that people who ate a small piece of chocolate after coming home from a run or a workout, they were much more likely to start exercising habitually.
So, according to Charles, whether you want to break a habit or start a new habit, the key is to divide the habit into its component parts, cue, routine, and reward, and design it for the result that you want.
Okay, so this was this week's video. I hope you enjoyed those 4 reasons. We'll see you next week.